And then, but the days did come when we were like, hey, son, we got an install today. And at the first time, I didn't know what that was. I was just like, okay, let's do what we got to do.
Now, this came with your dad, or this came once you got a job?
No, this came with my dad. That back in between those summers, hey, we got to go do this install today. We're not driving around. It's a different day.
Completely different.
It was the middle of summer, right? Going to
Texas means it's 100 degrees.
Right. Trying to have that go-getter attitude. I'm in front of my dad, right? So I'm trying to impress him. Yeah, man, whatever you need, I'm the man. Man, I got you. Right? You raised a good one. I'm here for you. I got
After 10 minutes in the attic, you're like, dude.
I don't even think so. I think once the climb up that ladder and you get that wave.
Man, you get that wave. Yes, it's walking and doing it.
Yeah, you start to, man.
Tradesmen built America. Not policymakers or desk jockeys, but hardworking, blue-collared men and women. Join me, Roger Wakefield, on conversations with some of the nation's most successful skilled laborers. This is the Trade Talks.
Did you ever think you'd have a job where you'd be providing for your wife, your 2 kids, and her younger brother and sister?
When I think about that, I don't think I've ever imagined a job that would do that, but definitely it's something I do want. You know, you always want to be a provider and have the opportunity to bring something home for your family. So what that job was, I don't know, but I mean, I think it's in everybody's desire to have a job that can do that.
And I love the way that when you talk about it, you've basically got a family of 6.
Yeah.
You, your wife, y'all's 2 children, and her younger brother and sister that she had custody of when y'all got married.
Correct.
And you're the sole provider.
Sole provider. I'm the only one that gets up and goes out and grinds and brings it back.
But you do that so they can have a good living, so they can enjoy life.
Yeah, so they can enjoy life. You gotta let kids be kids. Let them enjoy their time of being kids. Their time's gonna come where they're gonna grow up, be young adults, and when that time comes, you just want to have all the opportunities and all the doors open for them to go out into the world and make an opportunity and be successful for their road.
So when you were growing up, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Family of 6, mom, dad, 3 sisters. I'm the only boy, second oldest of 4. So 2 younger sisters and 1 older sister.
And was your dad the only one that worked?
Mom and dad worked for a good majority of the time. Once my dad went into HVAC, that's when it was just him. My mom stayed at home. We did the school thing, and then he went out and he went to work every day for us. So once he started HVAC, that's when it was just him.
And then later you started going to work with him.
I would always go to work, like in the summers. He would always take me with him. Came from a background of a family of go-getters or grinders. They wake up, grind. Summer came around, there was no hanging out, sleeping in. So he's like, hey, you're coming to work with me. So I need an extra hand. Let me go teach you some things. And yeah, in the summers, in between summers, I would go out and work with him and, get out in the field with him.
So what was that like being out in the field as a young man, young teenager,
right,
doing HVAC installs, troubleshooting?
All I really was focusing and caring about and really enjoying was the time spent with my dad. Work-related wise, I was your usual, are we done yet? Are we ready to go? Man, I can't wait to get home. What time is it? Checking the clock. Is it lunchtime yet? Right? But we shared before in previous conversations, me and my dad, we're like best friends. So just hanging out with him was kind of my primary enjoyment at that time. Of course, like any little kid sees their dad as a superhero. So anything he did was amazing, right? He troubleshoots. It's not working. You're watching him in action, trying to figure out what the cause is, and then when he figures it out and is up and running, and you have the customers, thank him and appreciate him for his work and what he did, then it kind of fulfills that superhero image in your eyes. So I've always thought that was cool. But yeah, I was your typical kid, just getting ready to, just hanging out with dad, right, doing what dad tells me to do. But I'm kind of ready to go home. So, but in between, there's a lot of learning involved in there too.
It's pretty neat that at a young age you recognize that superhero role.
Yeah.
Because I talk to tradesmen all the time, and I think I always looked at plumbers being the superheroes. We're the superheroes without capes. We walk in, they've got a flood, they've got sewage coming up in their house, they've got whatever. and we told them, look, don't worry about this. We got this. HVAC is really the same way.
Yeah.
It's you come in and it's 105 degrees outside and their AC doesn't work. It's 99 degrees inside the house.
Yeah.
And when you leave, it's blowing cold air.
For sure.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
It's a huge difference, yeah.
So tell everybody who you are and what do you do nowadays?
So now my name is Saul Granado. I work for Rescue Air. I'm a HVAC installer, residential. HVAC is pretty much what I breathe right now at the moment. I do. I come into work, do what I got to do, go get these installs done, train up my guys, help each other out, and then bring it home and let the family enjoy it. That's the best part is watching and having your family enjoy the fruits and labor that you do, right? You bring it home and then they get to live a good life. Sharing that with them and watching them enjoy it, it's very fulfilling too. So
It is.
it's pretty much what I do. Just breathe HVAC, family guy, go home, enjoy with the family, whatever it is that we're doing, whether we're all hanging out, going to dinner, watching a movie, bowling, or watching my son's soccer matches. He's so involved in the soccer right now. So just, surrounding him with love and support as well as with one another. So it's all good. My family is actually, I already certified them as HVAC techs.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. We talk about it. I mean, I go to work, you come home, and that's all you talk about. It's all you had to bring home. But family is very supportive and very intrigued in what I do. So, my wife's already a certified HVAC tech. She knows all the ins and outs about it just from hearing me talk about it and sharing videos with her of what I do. So
I love it. I love it. You worked with your dad when you were in high school. When you got out of high school, you tried different things. You didn't go straight into HVAC.
Yeah, it just didn't dawn on me to go to HVAC or follow that. I was just trying to find something to give me $1, no experience, minimal knowledge of what opportunities are really out there for me. So just was walking by it and applying and getting anything that can give me some bread. So
Okay, so hold on. What all different jobs did you have?
first job was a Carl's Jr. flipping burgers.
Okay, I used to flip burgers.
Yeah, I did that. That didn't last too long. Quickly, I realized it's not for me. It's not what I want to do. I didn't enjoy it, but I needed a job, so that's what I took. It's what the first thing that came to me. After that, I tried to do something more active. I was a warehouse at a Toyota with the parts. That was pretty decent. I liked that a little bit. And then after that, it was just job after job and just in and out as quickly as I got them, like the same way I got out and tried to jump on a new one. I just couldn't find anything that excited me. So I did flipping burgers, warehouse jobs, changing oils on cars. I did some landscaping, some general construction work. And, just trying to find that fit for myself throughout the years. But that's what I did out of high school, just trial and error, you would say. Eventually that light bulb just came on and just said, hey, well, really it was my dad, but he kept bugging me about it. Just go to HVAC, just go to HVAC. Then that's when I realized, well, I got to go to school for it. A lot of people are asking for some experience.
Okay, so you went to school.
I did. I went.
Explain school. What kind of school? Where'd you go? How long was it?
I went to community college in Dallas. Did all, I was aiming for associates, but in the process, I did the trade school program, and it gets you an associates and it's science, right? But you got the trade in HVAC. I was pretty fortunate because I've been working with my father. I had kind of the basics and the foundations of HVAC. So it wasn't too much of a struggle. It was more of a better understanding of what I was doing. So school was in Mesquite, Eastfield College, filled with great professors with a lot of character, I'd say. Went to work at the time I was working, changing oils on vehicles. I would wake up, go to work. Once I'd get out of work, then I'd have an hour in between. I'd get some lunch, drive to school, and then just kind of prepare for that. It was we go in at 5, we would get out like at 10:30. So it was from 5 to 10. Those were the classes that were. So after a long day of work, now you got to go to school. it's very appreciative that you have instructors who at that time still have a lot of energy and a lot of character. So it helps keep you in tune, and it helps you stay awake and you know, kind of engage and focus in class. So I really appreciate my instructors at the time.
So you're working all day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to school at night. How many nights a week did you go to school?
4 days.
4 days.
4 days,
Okay.
Monday through Thursday. So
Because the union goes to school 2 nights a week. It's about the same, 5 to 9:30, something like that. How long do you have to do this?
6 months. 6 months to get your first certification. That's just to the first certification. But after that, if you pursue more, then you go for more. But a minimum of 6 months.
How long did you end up going? Did you go 6 months?
I did the
to get
6
your
months.
certification? Okay.
Yeah, I did the 6
get out
months.
and make money.
I got the certification, and once I got that certification, I was too excited. I was ready to go. I was ready to go even before school started, you know, but it's just part of the process. Very well recommended process, because once you start something, you want to feel comfortable. You want to know what you're doing. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. So, yeah, we'll very well worth it to have gone through that. It's 6 months.
So what do you think that going to trade school helped you? How do you think that it helped you get an advantage on getting a job?
It got me the advantage of getting a job, because then when I would go apply, they know, hey, this guy has, for one, I have the desire. You have to have a desire to do something in order to get yourself involved in it. So I just feel like it let the employers know that I had the desire to be in HVAC. Gives you that comfortness too when you first start. You know, you're not going in blind. You have a taste of what you're in for, what you're going to do, and if during that time you talk to plenty of people that have the experience, then you have a full-headed mind of what you're going to be getting yourself into and what you want to do.
So in 6 months of trade school, what do they teach you?
The basics. I believe that the first thing that they taught us was safety. For sure, they make you aware of all the dangers that surround the job site. So first thing they teach you is safety, the proper equipment to wear, and the do's and don'ts. You know, a list of things to be aware of. So they teach you the safety. After safety, they start going into basics. They start getting you familiarized with what the equipment looks like, and then what the goal for that equipment is to do, right? You know, what's its function, what's its purpose. After you get there, then you go into the internals of this is the motor that gets the fan going, and the fan pushes the air around, and this is a coil, stuff like that. You start to figure out how these components are put together to fulfill that furnace or that condenser's purpose, right, and what it needs to do.
So when you walked out of college, trade school, what did you feel comfortable doing?
For me personally, and I add again, I have the experience that I've had with my dad. So that plus school, I kid you not, man, I just felt ready. I felt ready. More of that was at my job, right? Just making myself proud of what I was doing, and that strive to make my father proud that, hey, look, all the things he taught me and that seed you planted, watch it grow, you know. I felt personally, I felt ready, man. I was excited. I was ready to go, and I knew that. So one thing about school is that school will give you all the knowledge. You'll have all the knowledge. You'll know how the system works and its components, and you know all that it takes for the equipment to function. But there's a huge difference between school and on the field. So I had all the knowledge. I had everything in my mind, but now utilizing that knowledge and physically putting it into practice, that's a whole different experience, right? So I felt ready. I had the knowledge. I knew what I was doing, but now I had to physically prove that. Now I had to put these things into practice, you know, put these thoughts into motion and go out and carry that out. So I was excited to go get my hands-on experience, really.
So when you say go get your hands-on experience, you wanted to go become a service technician.
I did wanted to become a service technician. After
driving around in a truck,
driving
uniform,
be in a full uniform, shirts tucked in, look real good, feel good. have these conversations with the customers, go up in the attics, be in and out,
Yeah, I'll spend all day up there. That's too much work.
No lingering around in that hot attic, or a cold attic, because as it gets hot, it also gets cold too. So
So that was your thought. That was where you were headed.
My thought was, man, this is gonna be a breeze. Walk in the park, this stuff is easy. Utilize my mind to do my job, right? That's gonna be my greatest tool is my mind, is troubleshooting, figuring things out that others couldn't, right?
And this is people's houses you're talking.
People's houses, yeah.
Because I tell people when they get in the trades, there's residential, there's commercial, there's service, there's new construction. So there's different paths to go, different opportunities, and even really residential service. There's even another path, which is install, which you did not want to do because that's in an attic all day, every day.
Exactly. So I was.
So what do you do nowadays?
Now I'm an HVAC installer.
Okay. Okay. Let's just check it. I want to make sure.
I'm an installer.
Okay.
But fresh out of school and getting out there, I was painting a pretty picture for myself. Going out there, service work, in and out of attics, real quick, sharing minimal conversations, and just getting the day going, cracking out these service calls. That's what I wanted to do because that was my favorite time when I was working in those summers. Those were my favorite times is running calls and, just
with your dad,
with my dad, and watching him in action and one day wanting to be able to do what he does, right? System's not working. Nobody has no clue as in why. He goes in, does his work, and then boom, it's up and running. Everybody's happy. We're satisfied, keeping it going. We got minimal sweat, minimal dirt on my shirt. I'm ready to go, It makes the day go by quicker as well. So you got all these calls to run, and you got to go get it one after the other.
And you're driving around half the time.
So that, as riding shotgun, so that's very chilling for me. But the days did come when we were like, hey son, we got an install today. And at the first time I didn't know what that was. So I was just like, okay, let's do what we got to do.
Now this came with your dad, or this came once you got a job?
No, this came with my dad. That back in between those summers. Hey, we got to go do this install today. We're not driving around. It's a different day.
Completely different.
It was the middle of summer, right? Going to
Texas means it's 100 degrees.
Right. Trying to have that go-getter attitude. I'm in front of my dad, right? So I'm trying to impress him. Yeah, man, whatever you know, I got you. I'm the man. Man, I got you. Right? You raised a good one. I'm here for you. I got
after 10 minutes in the attic, you're like, dude.
I don't even think so. I think once the climb up that ladder and you get that wave,
man, you get that wave. Yes, it's walking and doing it.
Yeah, you start to, man, how long are we doing this?
Yeah.
How long does
we're going to be here all day?
Yeah. We're going to be here all day. And then you got all the other things. You got installation. You're agitating it. It's in the air. You can't see it, but you feel it.
It itches.
It's not feeling too good. You're sweating. It's in your eyes. It was definitely not fun. So I had both days, right, riding around, and then I had the all day in an attic. So
you knew for sure install something you don't want to do.
No, those were not those as a kid at that time. That was not cool for me. That was brutal.
You bet.
That was brutal. No 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid wants to be up in an attic in that type of nature, just being and thinking, oh, this is awesome. I doubt it. So going to school.
This is what I want to be when I grow up.
So out of school, I was looking at because I knew there was a difference, right? You had your installers, and then you had your service tech. So out of trade school, I thought to myself, yeah, I'm gonna make it easy for me. I'm gonna use my brain and go out and be a service tech and figure this stuff out. But when I started, so I started my first job, small HVAC company, similar to the one my dad was in at the time. That kind of just did it all, ran calls, troubleshoot, warranty swap outs, and then you'd have your installs all day. So I said, hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my foot in the door. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Nothing that I haven't seen before. So I felt comfortable. I felt ready to go. But in the back of my mind, I always told myself, when it comes to these days when I'm riding around, I'm gonna try to outshine. So
you bet.
So that whenever you have installs and calls to run on the same day, I wanted the boss man to pick. Okay, Saul, this is your greatest suit.
Right.
Go out and go.
You're gonna run the calls.
You're gonna run the calls. But
If you're enjoying the Trade Talks, hit that subscribe or follow button, which helps us produce this awesome blue-collar content absolutely free. And now, back to the episode.
That didn't turn out that way for me. So we were doing installs, and then for the job that I was doing, he had more installs than he did calls. So I ended up doing more installs than I did calls. I still ran calls, and I was, we were in and out, and I was enjoying those days as well. But majority of his work were installs. And then that's where I met one of my buddies who I still work with today, and just became a good team and just got real good at what we did, doing it days in and days out. So I just got a lot better at being an installer, unwillingly, just naturally on its own. Nature took its course on me, and then that's what I became. So when I left that job and went into Rescue Air was hiring for in-house installs. And so I sat down, one of their subcontractors who I went to trade school with, he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be an installer?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Do you want to make more money than what you're making now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, I'm a subcontractor installing for Rescue Air. They need some in-house people. You be interested?" I mean, it's the same thing as what I'm doing now, right? But more money, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
do
the
that.
math.
Yeah,
It doesn't take long.
All right, it didn't take much.
Plumber or HVAC, it don't matter. That math is pretty easy.
Yeah. So he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna, you get offered more." So I went and I sat down, had an interview conversation with Josh Campbell, owner of Rescue Air, and he told me, he said, "Do you want to make some money this year?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come work for us. You won't regret it. You're gonna make a lot of money." And considering sole provider for a household of 6,
You bet.
I have to jump on these opportunities and that was a good start for me. I felt good.
So making 36 grand a year,
Yeah,
40 overtime, stuff like that.
yeah, 40 with overtime, stuff like that. So it was good, but once I knew what I really could make with what I knew, with the skills that I had, it opened up my eyes to things that I didn't know were possible or was out there for the HVAC career path, right?
So hold on. Well, let's come back to that in a minute. When you were a service tech, you said, "Look, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the one that they were like, look, call Saul.
Yeah, I want
He'll get into, yes, that's who I want running my service calls." What kind of things did you focus on to help you become the best? What, and even, I guess I really already know you wanted to be the one picked. What makes, because we've had this conversation, not many people get in the trades now and want to become the best.
right.
And you're like, "Look, I want to be the best service tech."
Mm-hmm.
You wanted it just so they'd pick you so you wouldn't be doing the installs.
To stay away from the installs.
What did you have to learn to become the best?
I'd have to learn to listen to those instructing me, those guiding me, and supporting me, because they're the ones that are they're teaching you, they're helping you grow. So learning to listen to those words of wisdom, or through a great path. But if you're hard-headed, or if you're too rushed and you don't take the time to listen, you'll miss out on a lot of opportunity for growth, really. So I think wanting to be the best is simply trying to be the best, with the mentality and the want for growth, and I think any HVAC or any trade employer can see that in somebody, that their drive really to want to go out there and give him the best in him.
Now you see new people come into Rescue Air all the time.
Yeah.
New service technicians, new installers, new everything.
New everything.
How many of them come in with the mentality of, look, I'm going to be the best?
Unfortunately, very few.
Is that not sad? Because
It's very
think
sad.
about this all the time.
Yeah. It's very sad because they miss out on a great opportunity to, like for me, the greatest opportunity for me is being able to provide for my family, and doing that while doing something that I enjoy and have a passion for. I mean, it's a win-win. I'm living a great life, if you ask me. And because I feel and I'm experiencing this great life, why wouldn't you want that for the next, right? Why wouldn't you want? So you hear somebody, man, I got a family of 6 and I'm struggling. Become an HVAC, man. Dude, become an HVAC.
I love it. And people, I had somebody the other day, they were talking to somebody at a conference, and I guess I was talking to both of them, and somebody asked me about plumbing. I said, oh my God, I love plumbing.
Yeah.
I love it. And I tell people all the time, I'm living the most amazing life I could have ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I get to do plumbing. Now, I don't do near as much of it, but I get to do it, get to shoot videos, get to help people.
Right.
Now I get to help all the trades, talking to them, doing different things. But they said that, Roger, after you said that and you walked away from that conversation, this guy looks at me and says, hey, do you really think Roger loves plumbing? And he's like, oh my God, yeah, you cannot see it in his eyes when he talks about it and the way he smiles about it. You just said, I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now remember that 14-year-old kid said, this is something I do not want to do.
I did not want to be an installer. No.
It's probably one of the hardest jobs about HVAC. It is the hardest. It is the hardest. And that's the thing, is that you got to know what you're getting yourself into. One thing for sure, it's not easy. It's miserable. It's hot. There's a lot of challenges that come in this career as an installer, right? You got to endure a lot of things. But now you love it.
But now I love it. It's so funny that I think back to it, because I was, this is
the one thing I'm gonna do.
Not gonna do that. Yeah, this is one thing I was not aiming for, and then here I am. But I was in demand for jobs, and I was in demand for providing. So anything that was put in front of me, I took it and I owned it. So when I went to Rescue Air and they had a in-house installer position available, I went for it, and I got it. Shared good conversation with Josh. So after that moment, me and my buddy Edward, who we got hired on together, we just didn't want to fail. We didn't want to. We shared similar drive in the field, and we didn't want to fail. We wanted to learn. We wanted to be great. We went in, and we were side by side with teams who had many years of experience, meaning while we were kind of the rookies, so we have a lot to make up for. We got to make a name for ourselves. We got to earn trust. We got to deliver, right? So we didn't want to fail. We went at it and we did the best we could. We learned. That's the thing. You gotta be able to communicate. If you're stuck, say you're stuck. I'm the new guy. I'm a rookie. I think that's expected, right? I'm not coming in here fresh out of trade school and I'm just going to wake up with 10 years of experience. That's not going to happen. 10 years of experience is going to come with 10 years of experience, right?
It's the only way you get 10 years of
exactly.
experience.
So, I failed a few times. I got stuck a few times, but having the courage to reach out for help and call somebody, hey, I'm in this situation. What can I do? What should I do? Being supported by those team members helped us not fall back and continue to drive. And then before you know it, I was so focused and so driven on wanting to deliver and just, wanting to own what I did, that I ended up becoming real good at it. And here I am, and I still love it. And now I want to share my experience and make it somebody else's experience, so that they can enjoy it and love it, hopefully as much as I do, and allow the trade to give you and provide for you what you want from it,
You've been at Rescue Air how long now?
Going on 3 years.
When did you walk out of trade school?
6 years ago. 6 years ago.
Are you the best installer you know?
I'm not the best, no. Not.
No, you know better?
I don't know better, but I've heard of better. I've heard of better. So
then you are the best that you know.
facts. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep from being cocky.
No, I guess they just
stay humble, right?
No, and I get it, and I do. I like the attitude, but I mean, trying to be the best, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Tom Brady says, "Look, I'm not the best. There's others that play the game better than me, others that throw better than me, others that do this better than me." But when you look at the overall picture, man, he's pretty daggum good at all of it. So
Right.
that kind of moves him up towards the top.
I hear you.
And he's got more jewelry than most people do.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's ways to do it, but you get paid every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
What's the biggest check you ever brought home? I saw that smile.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of which one. There's got to be one. There's pretty similar, but it gets up there around 10 grand.
10 grand.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. That's $5 grand a week.
Yeah.
That's not a bad living.
That's not at all.
I mean, that is not a bad living.
No.
The 2 weeks prior to that, where you earn that money, you worked your tail off.
Yeah.
I saw that look on your face too.
Yeah, because you got to remember why you're in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it's for the money, right? But I'm not a money chaser. It's just that we live in a world where you need money to be able to do things. So the more money you have, the better life you have.
Amen.
And that's all I'm trying to do as a provider and as a father and as a husband is give my family the best life I can give them. So going out and working my tail off, you got to remember why you're in it. Because I quit my job, believe it or not. I quit my job. In the middle of summer, I quit my job. Not every day. I quit my job almost every hour.
Yeah.
I quit my job almost every hour.
In your head. Because in my head, is it?
There's moments, the nature of the trade will just, and I'm sure it's in every other trade, it'll come to them at one point or another. The mature you get in your trade, the less you get these thoughts. But you sit there and you think to yourself, what did I get myself into? Why do I love this so much? Where did this even started? And it's good to ask yourself those questions in the moment, because you also answer yourself those questions. Why am I here? Oh, it's for my family. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how did I even get myself involved? Oh, well, my dad did it, and that's what I grew up doing with him. So, it's just, and then you just pick yourself up and you regain motivation. And of course, once that check comes in, then yeah, you no longer hate it anymore. You actually love it, and
you survived every one of those days.
Yeah,
every freaking one of them.
In my opinion, to be an HVAC installer, it takes a special breed, because you're up in that attic not 15, 20 minutes. You're there all day till
2 hours.
Yeah, till the job's done.
Yeah. And I say 8 hours. It may be 10 or 12 hours.
It could be more or less, but 8 hours is an average time of how long you're up there.
Well, what's the longest day you've ever had?
The longest day?
Yeah. Meaning you went in that morning to do an install, and
the longest day I've ever had was my first HVAC install.
Okay.
With my buddy Eddie.
At Rescue Air?
At Rescue Air.
Okay.
Bobby, who's our supervisor, we talk about it all the time. Went into Rescue Air. They knew I was a rookie. They knew I knew a lot, right? But they still knew that my experience was low. I was like maybe a year and a half, 2 years before I got to Rescue. So them feeling comfortable to just send me out and go with the mentality, he's going to go get it done, come back.
You did.
Which I did. We did. And we had the determination. We weren't scared. We weren't afraid. We were hungry. We were ready. We were excited. So it's a downflow in a closet, single stage system, not too many bells and whistles, right?
Pretty easy
install. I'm looking at Eddie, hey man, we've done this many times. We can come in here, do it again, and then just keep going from there. So we get to that job. Nothing really that I can think of went wrong. We did the install, but the day just happened to get away from us to the point where it's like, hey Ed, you know what time it is, dude? It's been a good well over 10 hours. And that was the longest install, because Bobby had to come out and check on us and be like, hey guys, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's good. And he was being real nice, but I think it got to the point where he's like, all right, I'm done tippy-toeing around.
Right, question. Check on y'all.
What's taking so long? And we're like, We don't know, man, but we're grinding it. We're getting it done. We're doing it, taking it one step at a time. And what I realized is that it wasn't that it was hard or that we didn't know what we were doing. It's that that's the day that I realized that in install, if you don't have a rhythm, an organized plan, the day's gonna get away from you
real quick.
And as hot as it is, yeah, you want to get this thing on and going, because you're only gonna endure this type of heat a lot longer than you really should. You know, so that was a lesson learned for me. Being prepared, being organized, having a rhythm.
So after Bobby came check on you, how much longer did it take y'all to finish?
Bobby came and he checked on us. I think it was we started at 8 like 8:30 in the morning, and we were saying our goodbyes around 9.
So 12.5-hour day. It's a long day.
Long day.
And you've never done that again?
And I never did that. We never repeated that again. I mean, we've done plenty of installs after that, but we didn't take nearly as long because, you know, once...
And you've done a lot harder installs than that, too.
I've done a lot harder installs from then, too. That was I'm telling you, it was the easiest install, but it was the longest one that did, just for the lack of having an organized plan. But it comes with experience. You have to go through these things to know what it takes and to learn how to get better, how to get more efficient. You know, a lot of people like to use the word fast, and I want to be faster. We want to be faster, but the danger in using the word fast is that, for example, as a homeowner, you don't want us to be here till 9 o'clock at night, right? But at the it's very important for trades guys to know the difference between fast and efficient. I don't like working too fast, because when you know what you're doing, and I tell the guys that work with me all the time, you know, don't rush, don't be fast, be as efficient as you can be, and they're confused, they don't get it.
Right.
And when I go into explaining to them, it's like, look, I know you're new, you ain't done this before, but just go through the motions, do it, get comfortable. Here within a month, you're going to repeat these same steps over and over and over, to the point where you do something and you're not standing around, okay, what goes next?
Right. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. Or it gets to these, like what happened to me. I would do something, but because I was so wanting to make sure it got done right, I was not double checking, I was triple checking, quadruple checking. And then to the point where you get bored of it and you're like, okay, I don't have to check it 5 times. After the second time, it's going to still be the same, and it's going to be good. And it was good then, it's going to be good now. Right? It's just that desire of wanting to not fail and not wanting to miss anything, make sure everything runs 100%. Don't rush, don't be fast, but for sure, be efficient. Efficiency comes with time.
And I like that. The words I use are busy and productive.
Busy and productive.
Are you just busy? If you're just busy, you can run around in circles and be busy.
Mm-hmm.
If you are productive, you are getting things done. You're going through the steps, the processes, knocking it out, testing it, checking it off, knocking it out, testing it, and checking it off.
Exactly.
And that's huge. Y'all got a busy time in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Starts in March or April.
March or April is when it starts kicking off.
Goes through August, September.
Yeah, this year it slowed down a little quicker than most, but on average it's around September is when it starts to kind of dip down a little. But it only dips down for maybe a month,
and then it starts getting cold.
It starts kicking cold again. So yeah, we and then the cold it's busy, but it still doesn't compare to what it's like in the summertime. So and that's another thing in HVAC, in the HVAC world, is that you gotta accept that schedule, because that's just our schedule is based on the time of the year, right? And what the weather is looking like.
So it starts in March, April, running there.
Yep.
Till September.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
How many days do you get off from March to September?
1 day a week.
Yeah.
1 day a week I get off. I'm off on Saturdays. I use those 24 hours to recover and get ready to get back at it again. And then if you're the type of guy that I am, where you're just so involved, physically you're resting and rejuvenating, but you're wondering how your guys are doing. Those, because we have a group of guys that are off on Saturdays and then a group of guys that are off on Sundays, and we alternate. So I'm off on Saturdays, but even then, you have guys that worked this is their 6th day, and you're just kind of like, hey, how's it going? Is it checking in on them, calling them, all good? And then you get those when you run into like, oh, well, I'm stuck in this. The furnace is too big. The hole is too small. I'm limited on the number of studs I can cut, and then things like that. And everybody's busy in the office. I can't get through to no one. And so then you're there trying to be an aide. So you're off, but if you're as involved as I am, you're really not, because your mind just lives there, right?
And so this is your team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got your own install team.
Mm-hmm.
Move yourself up to get in the right position. You can still, you can make a great living at this. Would you say that?
Yeah, you make a great living. Yeah.
I mean, you're paying for a family of 6 all by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're still young. You still got a lot more years to go.
Yeah. I just turned 30, so I got my whole life ahead of me still.
So just turned 30, and you've moved up and you've done very, very well.
Yeah.
You're the lead install team?
Lead installer, yeah.
Okay. Lead installer, but also your team, y'all are like the number 1 team in the company, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the one, if y'all only got 1 install tomorrow, your team's going to get it.
Yeah.
Y'all are the best crew.
Yeah. We'll get it, and we'll rotate. The way they play it, it depends on the job. If it's just a basic install.
You mean like an upflow in a house that should take 4 or 5 hours?
Horizontal, that should take, 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours.
Not 12. Not 12.
Definitely not 12. But if it's we'll be on rotation, right? We got to feed everybody.
You bet.
So we'll be on rotation. But when you get a specific job that requires, it's more than what a basic install would take. You got to do new cut-ins, redo duct work, redo the system, run new line set. That's a big day. So, yeah, you need your best experienced guys on that job in order to get that job done efficiently, because you don't want to push this job over to another day, because then you push the next day's jobs over another day, and
then you're just trying to play catch up.
And you're just trying to play catch up, exactly. So you have to be efficient, and in order to get these big jobs done, you would want to have your best guys on there.
So how many people do you have on your team? If you go out just a 1-day good sized job, and it's a 1-day install, change out, whatever it is, how many people have you got with you?
If you're enjoying the Trade Talks, hit that subscribe or follow button, which helps us produce this awesome blue-collar content absolutely free. And now, back to the episode.
Just 2 of us.
Just 2 of you.
Just 2 of us. It's myself, lead installer, and then my helper. So it's just 2 of us. We go, we get it in, get it out. Average of 8 hours for 2 people on a regular install. You may have some little extras here and there, but even then, just knowing what you're going in there to do helps, get the day going and getting it done. But two guys. Now I'm getting into where I'm bringing a 3rd guy along, and that's just for training purposes. He's there to get his hands and feet in the, get in the water. And
think about that. That's really a good idea. Bring in a $15 an hour labor type person that wants to learn it.
Yeah.
That wants to come in and say, hey, I'll carry your tools up. I'll bring them back. I'll pick up the trash. I'll do this.
Yeah,
I'll do that. Because
they get themselves, they're on the field. They're
it's kind of like you at the age of 14 or 15 riding around with dad.
So I love that, because for that individual, and most of the times, it's like a privilege, to be honest, because you don't know what you're doing. We have demands in the middle of summer. We got these goals to meet on getting this job done.
You bet.
We don't need a guy getting in the way, right? for the third guy to come in, you have to be productive. You have to be helpful and bring something to the day to get this done.
So you think third guy is not sitting around on his phone playing
not
Pokemon?
sitting around on his phone playing Pokemon or just standing there watching. It's not that type of field day. So it's very important, needed, and an advantage to be on job site as a third guy, getting your hands inside and getting them dirty and all, because these kids, they're still going to school, which is a sweet part for them. They go and they come out to our jobs, they help us out. We appreciate the extra help, right? Because we can advance more on the job throughout the day, and these guys still got to come into work, be involved on the job, and they can clock out, leave, and still make it to school. So it's a privilege because, like I was around with my dad doing it in between summers, and then I went to trade school. So when I finally was ready to go start applying for HVAC jobs, I was a lot more comfortable because I had a little bit of hands-on experience, and then I had the knowledge as well. So it just builds these individuals to be more confident when they go out and do these jobs. And there's a lot of guys that come in that don't have the experience. They come in with an expectation, and when they get here and they get in those hot attics, they don't last too long because that wasn't part of their expectation. So their expectation was failed, and because their expectation was failed, they immediately lose interest, and they're like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. So do you either linger around until you get cut off, or you take matters into your own hands and like, nah, I'm not doing it. Appreciate the time, but I'm not doing it. And then you just got to go over the motions again and find another guy, because heat and summer, the summer and then the winter, they're not going nowhere. They're here.
Well, and the summers here in Texas can get hot.
Oh, yeah.
The winters can get cold. We just experienced that a couple of years ago. It can get really cold.
Yeah.
I remember being up in a attic working on water heaters, installing drip legs on the gas lines for each water heater because the inspector called it out, which didn't need it, but that's what they said. So I get up there. It's 105 degrees outside. I do the first two, and I remember I'm on the third one. At that point, I'm getting dizzy. Phone rings. It's one of my plumbers. I'm like, dude, let me finish what I'm doing. I'll call you back as soon as I get out of here. If I stop to talk to you, I ain't gonna make it.
Right.
And literally hang up the phone and finish what I'm doing, climb down the stairs to get in the cool air. How often do you take breaks? How often do you get out of the attic just to...
We do take frequent breaks. Getting down and out of the attic is a break.
You bet.
Because
even if it's just going to grab a roll of silver tape.
Yes, whatever it is, just getting out of the attic your break is already beginning, because you're in fresh air, you're catching your breath, you're cooling down, right? You're preventing dehydration, you're preventing heat exhaustion, all that. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it firsthand myself. So it's real. You got to be careful with it. Take care of yourself. So we take frequent breaks. We can be up there maybe 20, 30 minutes. Once you've been up there for that long, we check on each other. You got to get down. I know we got to get this job done, and I know you're focused in what you're doing, but you can easily forget to take breaks, and you can easily, and that is the heat exhaustion.
You bet.
Creeping up on you, and you wanting not to be there is making you actually stay there longer, because you want to get it done so you don't have to longer be there, right? So if you get wrapped up in that mentality, you can easily get yourself in some trouble. So 20 to 30 minutes. After that, 5-minute break. 20 to 30 minutes, 5-minute break. And then in those 5 minutes, you want to grab a bite to eat, drink you some water, maybe pick up some trash on the way to the truck, bring something that you might need later, take something to the truck you may no longer need. Just try to busy and productive, like you mentioned. Busy and productive, but out of the attic is definitely a break, and you want to take advantage of those 5 minutes. Now, there's some crews that they take lunch breaks, but I like to eat and snack and hydrate throughout the day. It keeps my day going, and I'm not a big fan of the sit down for 30 minutes to an hour eating lunch.
Yeah,
because it's hard to get up from that after, and especially doing what we do. when you're done, it's a relief, right? So if you take that 30 to an hour break in the middle of it, it's like a lie, right? You get that relief, but no, you got to go back in there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get this done. So I think, in my opinion, I think that's the best way, is to kind of snack, drink water, hydrate in between. We have portable fans that we carry with us.
They help.
And they do help. I tell you the story. When I first got my first portable fan, battery operated, I was excited. I was like, man, this thing's going to do wonders for me when up in that attic. It's going to be a great help. I bring it to work, and we're cleaning up our trucks. We're loading up for the day. We're all side by side, right? So everybody seeing me walk in with my new fan, everybody was laughing. Oh, right, look at that cute little thing. I mean, that thing's not going to do much for you up there. It's not enough. It's too small. Guess what?
Everybody has one
of those fans now. Yeah, I mean, it's a help, man. Anything that can, a cool towel wrapped around your head, just, like I said, these are the guys, these are the expectations you need to have when you come in here, because if you don't know that this is the world that, HVAC inside an attic looks like, if you don't know that you're going to be those that are going to, I'm out, I'm done.
Somebody just coming in, walking in and say, hey, I want a job.
Yeah.
Okay, you ever thought about HVAC installer? Like, no, I ain't thought about it, but I can do it. Okay.
Yeah, I can do it.
Come on, we're going to put you on that crew.
Yeah, and for installers, the what I've noticed after not wanting to be an installer and now being an installer, what I've noticed is that a lot of service techs actually want to transition and become installers, and they do it for the wrong reason. They do it, I've seen it happen a lot. They do it because they see the money.
Mm-hmm.
They see a money difference, right? They're doing calls, probably is not going great for them, working lots of hours, not as much sales. So their pockets are feeling, they're getting a little empty, and that's not what they expected or want, maybe need. But they see us on this side, that it's like, you come in, you have your job, you go do your job, and then you come back and then you get paid, right? So it's kind of like, you see it and it's like, man, it's kind of cutthroat. You come in, you get your job, you finish, you're off. Once that job is done, you come in the next day and you collect your payment. It's not just that simple, right? You have to know what the world is and what the challenges of the days are like. It's not easy. Those are the first ones that you see want to make that transition, come in to install. 1 or 2 days of it, they want to go back. They don't want to endure that. So you have to know what you're getting yourself into before you get into it. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time. For guys like myself, that this is what I do, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because I see a guy and I see help. I see another soldier coming to battle.
You bet.
And to see that soldier, you're receiving him with appreciation, with gratitude. You're trying to be his biggest support, and you're going through all the safety. Wear your gloves, pulse check on each other every now and then. Remember to drink water, bring your snacks. I always bring snacks for myself, and I bring snacks for my crew, or for my helper. There's 2 of us, sometimes 3, but I bring sandwiches, I bring chips, crackers. Always 2 packs of water every morning with ice. And
you say 2 packs, you're talking 2 cases.
2 cases, yeah, 2 cases of water. And those every day, daily, because you're going to go through them, And, I do that because I want to have a successful day. I want to take care of myself. And as the lead on the job site, I'm also responsible for my guys too. I can't do it alone. So, I got to look out for them, make sure they're up to speed and that they're feeling good and healthy, so that together we can get our job done. So when these guys come unprepared, they're the first to fall. So it's not easy.
It's a good job.
It's fulfilling for me. I like it, being able to look back at the job you did and say, man, I did that. I was able to do that. And then it's even greater when you talk and you share your experience with other guys, and they're like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know how you do it. I can't do that. I can't imagine it. And then it's like, it just gives you a sense of, that's my definition of cool, right?
You bet.
I feel cool.
It's a sense of pride.
It's a sense of
We
pride.
do some amazing things everybody can't do.
And not everybody can do it. No, it takes a special breed to be up in that attic and do what we do for the amount of time that we do it for.
So what would you tell, if there's a young person listening right now that's thinking about getting in the trades,
Mhm.
and they like your story, like, man, I'd love to be an HVAC installer.
Mhm.
Maybe right now they're thinking it's all about the money, which there's a lot more than that, but people that like to build things or fix things, it's something that can be cool.
Yeah, it's in their nature.
How would you tell them to go about getting a job, or what things should they learn to become a good installer?
First, you gotta figure yourself out. Like you said, you have to be somebody who enjoys taking things apart, putting things together, mechanically inclined. You know, you gotta love to use tools. Once you define yourself at that person and you decide, hey, HVAC install is what I want to do, I would say just go get it. Go get it, and physically, if you're already that type of person, you're gonna pull through physically. It's the mental part. It's the mentality of, you know, having that desire to go in there, get it done, and learn every day. I'm still learning every day. The mindset really is where it's at. Physically, us we can do it all, right?
Mhm.
We would like to think that we can do it. We can do it, but
We're Superman.
we're Superman, right? We consider ourselves badasses
Yeah.
a day, right? But if your mindset is not set on being driven to the weight around you and the obstacles that you surround yourself in that environment, they're gonna tear you down. You know, they're gonna sniff you out. The heat's gonna get to you, right? The insulation is probably not gonna feel comfortable. You're gonna be sweating. All these things they're gonna tear you down. They're gonna weigh you down, and before you know it, they beating you, and now you don't want to go up against it.
And now you're never going to make that
And
good money.
And now you're never gonna make that good money, right? So when you're coming in, and then you just gotta have the mentality that you gotta pull through. It's not easy. That's why we take breaks. That's why we drink water. That's why we have each other. That's why you have a team. You're not out there alone. You can't do these things on your own. You gotta have somebody. You gotta have somebody with you. You know, you gotta have that support. So team oriented. You gotta be a listener, because believe it or not, when you go up there in the attic and it's super hot, and you have your way of doing it, but you see Joe next to you and he's like doing the same thing you're doing, but he's getting it done quicker. You got to be able to, you got to want to learn his way, because I don't want to be up here for 30 minutes doing this one thing when I know it can be done in 5 minutes.
Efficiency is what it's all about.
Efficiency is what it's all about. So be able to communicate, be able to be listening, and always have that desire to learn, because there's guys that they have too much pride. They could do it themselves. They don't need help from the guy next to them, or, you know, too much pride, whatever the case is. They can do it. They'll get the job done, but they won't be there for too long. You know what I mean? Personal health and personal safety, it has to matter.
So I got a couple more questions. And number one, this has been really, really good. What's the best year you've ever had so far? Money-wise. People always ask me about money in the trades.
Yeah. I mean, the trades they provide for sure. The best year I've had was last year. That was my best year.
100 grand, 150 grand,
150 plus.
150 plus.
Yeah, it was
30 years old.
30 years old.
Not a bad gig.
It's not a bad gig, and I mean, it feels good. It's in your, it has to be in your blood. We say this at Rescue, you got to bleed blue. You know, it's in your nature. It's the type of people we are. We talk about, you know, the cold season coming around. Ice happens in Texas, so yeah, you have to have a conversation about it. You got to be proactive and be prepared for stuff like that. Going around the room in this when we were having this conversation at work, one of my coworkers, Joe, was mentioning how, because the conversation is it's cold. You got icy roads. You know what that brings, right? That there's potential for accidents. Accidents can lead to other things, right? Let's not mention, right? You know, you can get real bad.
You bet.
But when you know that awaits for you outside of your door, there's something in you that still has to motivate you to get out there. Because though you have all the reasons to stay inside or to not go, but then Joe was like, what if that was my mom? You know, what if that was, you know, my wife? Or, you know, let's say we're not living in the same house and that's where my kids are. You know, you want them to feel comfortable. You got a newborn in a very cold house. You know, you got to provide them some heat. They got to survive. You got to have this type of mentality. You want to help. You got to, you know, willingness to take the risk and go out there and do these for.
You know, I love hearing that, because back when it froze real bad, I had a manager that was afraid of driving.
Yeah.
And he literally called every plumber we had, said, y'all, the roads are too bad. We can't get out. We're going to die. And I think we're the only plumbing company that shut down. And it's like, and we didn't all shut down. I was driving my truck out trying to do stuff, take care of people. But he's like, we're going to get hurt. I'm not going.
Yeah.
And he called every plumber and said, it's not safe. Don't drive on the roads. It's like, are y'all freaking crazy? There's people out there that need water.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be the superheroes.
We're supposed to be the superheroes, exactly.
He isn't.
So
okay. So good. 150 grand is possible.
It's definitely possible. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good year.
It's a good year.
One more question. If you could go back to little Saul, first day he's walking out of the house to go work HVAC with his dad, knowing what you know now, what would you tell, Saulito? What would you tell Saulito?
Early on, I'd tell him, get ready. You got a huge future ahead of you. You've been gifted the opportunity to have the brightest future you can possibly imagine sticking to this trade. That's what I would tell myself. You got something good in your hands. At the time, I didn't know. If I would have known, there's no telling sky's the limit where I'd be right now. But if I knew, the countless of opportunities and the countless of things that I currently could be living or having, would I have started then and never let it go and continued from that point on? I would tell myself, you got something good in your hands. Take it, grasp it, don't let it go. Continue, keep climbing. This is just the start. I didn't know it. I didn't know at 14, 15 years old in between summers. I didn't know that was the start. There's a lot that I learned, fundamental wise.
You bet.
There's a lot that I learned that I didn't know I learned during that time. That, crazy enough, the stuff that I learned then took years later for me to, now I'm applying all these things. And not only am I using these to apply what I've learned, but I'm adding to it. You know, I'm adding to that tool bag of skills. And I tell myself, get ready. You got a bright future heading your way. Take advantage of it.
And you said that you had an opportunity. Don't you think that any young person getting out of college right now has that, out of high school right now has that same opportunity?
Yeah, most definitely.
It's the trades aren't hard to get in.
They're really not. It's made for people like us who, you know, whatever reason you're saying it, you say, school's just not for me, right?
You said it, but you went to SFA.
I did.
For a little bit. I said, this ain't for me.
I did trying to make time to convince myself that.
Okay, wait. So you making time to convince yourself, or you're trying to make mom and dad happy?
Probably a little bit of both, because, you know, that pressure comes from parents sometimes, where it's like, oh, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a lawyer, right? You're going to I want you to be an engineer. And for my parents, it wasn't that they wanted me to be that, and specifically, it's just that for my parents, they knew that was a successful career path, and that's what they wanted from me. They just wanted me to have a successful career path, and by the time my dad got involved in it, and he saw how it can provide for you and all the opportunities in it, and how successful his career path was, that's when he was but by then I was already in school. So he wanted me to continue to support me on that way. But once I got out of it, he's like, do HVAC.
And is your dad proud of you now?
I like to say he is. I like to hear him say what he has to say, but I go out there every day trying to make him proud, make my family proud. I'd say my dad's very proud of me. And I like to hear his share of it. I know he's proud. I just like to hear how he would express that. But yeah, he's very proud of me. Go out there every day to make him proud. I'm very grateful. There's days, I kid you not, days I go home and I am just grateful. I'm grateful that I'm in the career that I am. I've called him multiple times. Dad, thank you so much for introducing me to HVAC. Thank you for, bringing me into this world, because like I said, school wasn't for me. I was an active guy. I wanted to do things with my hands. I was trying to do something with mechanics, right? I want to tear things apart, put them back together. And just sitting down in the desk all day was, it's definitely good. It's good for your knowledge, but, you just got to get your body moving. Absolutely. And that's who I was. So I thank him all the time. Thank you for introducing me to HVAC. Now me and HVAC are the best friends we've ever been, and now we're living life together, and I'm happy. I'm living a great life like I mentioned before. So I tell Saulito, man, be ready.
There you go.
Get ready, because you got a bright future ahead of you. You've been gifted a great opportunity, so grab hold and make the best of it.
So this has been good. Thank you.
And appreciate it.
All right.